So for step 4, attaching the differential gear. So we're working on the right hand side. So we've got the gearbox that we have to grab. We've got the motor mount, screw that in, and then we've got some bearings to put in, as well as this little piece of sponge tape. Now it comes with a big one. You've got to cut it to size, which I've done. And then on this side, we're going to add our differential and put in the counter and idler gears. Now this is where it's a change for me because of the speedrun challenge. We've got an aluminum motor mount because your regular motor mount is this one right here off the parts tree. So we're not going to be using that. So we've got that. And we've got the TL01 Speed Tune gear set. So right out of the bag, these two gears can make the car go faster. But I'm going to be doing something else with this, thanks to Jack of Trades, to make this car go into ludicrous mode. So we've got this, and those will be replacing these gears, which come in the kit. So there are the parts that we need, the screws, the bearings, and the shaft. So I'll set this up, and we'll put this together. So first off, let's get this little piece of sponge tape onto that rear gear housing. If I can get this off, let's try it a different way. Ah, there we go. Almost got it. There. So you can see that it's got to go on this part right here. So I'm going to put that at the end, right like that. Just like that. And it'll be interesting because I'm not really sure why we have to have that there, and especially when it's such a small piece, but there we go, it's on. So now let's put the motor mount on, and you can see here's my aluminum motor mount piece, and it looks like they're showing the bearing. So we're going to take one of those 1150 bearings and we're going to put it down inside there. There we go. And it looks like, yep, just the one for now. And then we're going to take our motor mount, which looks like it's got to fit there and there. So on that hole right there and those two screw spots right like that. So let's grab our screw and let's put that on there. And I'll screw that one in. And I'm not doing it all the way just yet because I want to make sure that all of the others go in correctly as well. And that one there. And that looks correct. And you can see that the plastic also has spots where that's going to actually fit into, so that gives it a little bit more strength. So I'm just going to change this out and we will screw these in now all the way. So again, I'm going to go around just making sure that nothing's binding, that it's going in correctly in all places. Looks like everything's fine, so I'm going to tighten these down now. And these are tapping screws, and they're going into hard plastic, so when you get to the end, you're going to know. Yep, can't go any farther. Do one last check on this side. Yep. And there we go. So there is one side of the gearbox with our aluminum motor mount, which I think is smart anyway, versus the plastic the kit comes with. So very cool. So now that that part is done, we're going to move on to this next bit. Now what's interesting is we're obviously going to change this out because I'm going to use the TL01 Speed Tune gear set as opposed to the gears that the kit came with. And you can see that there's definitely a difference in the gear. It's a bit smaller. So we'll put those ones aside and we're going to start working on these ones. Now you can see that there has to be 2 bearings on either side. So we'll pop that one in, we'll pop that one in. It goes right down to the bottom. So the bearings are in place, and you can see that this is all going to need to be greased up. Same thing with the differential. Now by the looks of it, I think this time around I'm going to take this and grab the grease, and we will grease this up all the way through. There we go. I got plenty on there. It's like I always, you know, I say I'll be liberal, but not too liberal, but it looks like we got quite a bit there now. Now you can see that the way this is going, the screws are facing out, so that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to place this right there for now, as it says it's to be. And then we're going to grab the speed gear piece. This is going to be used later, but that came from the speed gear set as well. And you can see that this all needs to be greased up. So we'll do that. We'll grease that, and it looks like the shaft needs to be greased up as well. So let's grease this up. And grease this up. And we need to grease this ring up. Now I did see that the bearing fell out, but that's okay. We'll get to that. Now I'm using a fair bit of grease here, but let's see how this all comes together. So I'll put the bearing back in there, and it looks like the way this is going to fit, we're going to go this way into the gearbox. You can see it's going to sit down there like that. Now I'm just going to leave it there for now because I've got to grab the shaft itself. And we're going to need to grease this up as well. Now, one interesting thing, it does say that in order to decrease wear on the motor itself, they are suggesting that you replace these solid shafts with the hollow shafts. I didn't know that when I got this, so I won't be doing that. Because you can see it says optional ball bearing set. Well, we're doing that, but hollow carbon gear shaft. That's what this is supposed to replace. But I'm not going to be doing that because there's a bit of a time constraint with this, because I need to get this kit ready for the speedrun challenge. So I am not going to be doing that. Now that might be not a good idea, but for the purposes of what I'm doing, I have no choice. I'm in a time crunch. So this may or may not be a good idea in the end, but we'll see. And you'll be able to see with me as to whether that needed to be replaced. But here we go. There is our finished differential gear for the rear with our aluminum motor mount and the TL01 Speed Tune gear set. So that means that step 4 is complete. So now we're going to move on to step 5 and work on the counter gear.